Yeah, anyways, back to me being an EMT, right? I was lucky. I was very lucky to have done that. I wanted to serve my community. I'm not bullshitting when I say this. I actually wanted to serve my community, and I was a hard worker. Have always been a hard worker. I was hustling for 14.67. That's how much I got paid. 14.67 an hour. You had to work overtime, or you were making $500 a week. No, that's not accurate. $900 a week ish. So $1,800 a check, maybe, Lord. But if you worked your set schedule, oh my gosh, dude, you weren't making nothing. You'd make like 600 a week. I worked overtime. I worked a lot of overtime because I was a hard worker. I was lazy in some ways, but I'd show up. I'd be there. I'd be on the clock, and that's what matters, right? But also, the thing you guys have to know about emergency services in general is 99% of the time that's it's not an emergency. Someone has called me for stubbed toes. People have called me because their tummy aches a little bit. People have called me because their doctor 2 weeks ago told them they need to come to their doctor's appointment, but they didn't schedule a follow up. So now they're going to take the ambulance to the hospital instead and use that as their doctor. And I'm like, whoa, talk about an abuse of the system. I mean, the funny thing about people that do that type of thing, they do not pay their ambulance bill anyways. And even if they did, guys, like, you think I'm seeing any of that money? No. We got paid a bare minimum wage by some bare minimum wage ass owners because it was private. So the way it worked in Montgomery, Alabama, is fire would respond to emergencies. They didn't really transport very much because we had transport services, but our shit was private. So you had two private companies that would kind of switch the emergencies back and forth for the most part. And yeah, we would transport people to the hospital, but we would be on scene on these emergencies. It's not like we were just like showing up and being like, oh, okay, cool. No, we showed up, we ran them things, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. Some of it was a lot of fun. Uh, Working with the fire department and like it was fun, man. It was fun. Like I was as a dude, you want purpose, and so for a while there, I thought I found my purpose, but I think I let the just BS calls and hardly ever being on an emergency get to me after a while. And then also on top of that, guys, like it was put to me in a very eloquent way by he's now a former paramedic. I was about to go to paramedic school and chose not to because I just knew that this was not going to be my forever thing. But this guy, he's now a realtor, but he quit to do like Uber Eats. He was like, fuck this. He'd been a paramedic for a long time. He's a real cool guy, has tattoos like me. That's not why he's cool, but if you emulate me, you're cool. And so he was explaining it to me. We were on like a long transport one night, and he was driving. He like wanted to drive, and he was telling me about how when he started in his career, he was like, I thought this career was for me because I was able to just put things into boxes, right? So I was able to handle the blood, I was able to handle the guts, I was able to handle the families crying, this, that, and the other. And so I was thinking that I just had the right temperament for it. But really, your trauma and all of that shit is a piggy bank. And each time you run into something traumatic, something else traumatic, this, that, and the other, you're putting something in the piggy bank. You're putting it in. And by the way, the piggy bank does not change size. It does not change capacity. So once it's filled, you got to do something to take some of that change out. And that's hard to do. That's hard to do. So eventually, sure, you become desensitized to it. You're not actually desensitized, at least not me, anyways. I after a while, it took me to break me. It took about 4 years, and there was a specific instance where we had like a new guy riding along with us. We went on this like cardiac arrest. And by the way, guys, nobody comes back from cardiac arrest. It's so rare to get somebody back. So most of the times they die. And can I say that word? I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's not monetized anyways, guys. Uh, but yeah, I ended up just having a terrible response to this. Like we worked them and everything, right? I've done CPR more times than I don't remember, dude. I really don't remember how many times. I remember in a span of 4 years, it was a lot. I'll put it this way: it was more than most of you. It was more than most of you ever will in your entire life in a span of 4 years, for sure. In a span of 4 months, I've done it more than you guys ever will, for the most part, unless like I've got nurses or paramedics watching or whatever. But I say all that to say that, like, wow, when I work hard in sales, I am thankful because this hard work, you make a lot of money, or you can. And the harder you work and the better you do, I mean, that's awesome. It's a little stressful at times, but like, dude, I can't think of anything more stressful than having a human life in your hands or having a non-human life in your hands, and you're trying to get the human life. Oh, wait, that sounded weird. Uh, you're trying to revive somebody that is impossible to revive. Like, that's tough. Like, making a sale, and if you don't, you get fired. I mean, that's like not fun. I'm not saying it's a walk in the park, but damn, guys, don't you think that's a little easier? Like, and you guys all have something like that too, by the way. You all have something that was way more stressful than what you're going through right now, or way more stressful than your workload at some point in your life. You all have something that you probably said, I don't know if I'm ever going to get over this. I don't know if I'm ever going to. And I mean, I'm not saying you're over it. I'm not making any conclusions here, but you're here, you're alive, you're well. And that's some there's something to say about that, man. You're a little fighter. You're a little fighting ass boy or girl, either one. And that's cool, man. That's real cool. That's real neat. That's real neat that you fight like that. So keep doing that. The stress that you feel, it'll you'll find something else to stress about soon enough. Trust me. I do that. I stress about everything, and then next thing you know, I have something else to stress about. And that's just how it works.